let's obviously Ryan Coogler's script is quite complex with many layers and themes, right?
Yeah,
Upon reading it and beginning to peel back those layers of Sammy, what did it mean that A, Ryan picked you, and what was like the conversations like about bringing Sammy to life?
yeah. I mean, it was it's difficult to describe, man. Like just I don't even know if I've still fully like just processed everything that's happened. It just everything's kind of felt like just a whirlwind. And but for Ryan to choose me for this was just an honor, man. Just seeing his work that he's done, seeing Black Panther and Creed, younger or as a kid and just being inspired by that and then to have the opportunity to work with him and get to see him on set and see how he works, it was just a once in a lifetime experience for sure. I mean, I remember I actually hadn't seen Fruitville Station until I got the role, and I was actually on set. Well, I got off set early one day and I watched it at my house in New Orleans, and I could only see it one time. It's just one of those type of movies, but just being blown away by even his progress and how like even with the mainstream and the big movies, just seeing that same spirit and that same attention to detail and to culture and to people at that scale just throughout his whole career was just so inspiring. So it was definitely an honor to work with him, but early talks with him was just understanding the importance of Sammy. I didn't know how big the role was until much later on. So I think he just kind of described it to me as, Sammy being the lens for the audience. He lives a pretty redundant life cycle of, sharecropping, going home to his family, going to church, and just a repeat. So I think when his cousins pick him up, he's seeing a new world for the first time. He has an image of like the American dream and what's possible for him, and his cousins kind of break it down for him because they've traveled the world and they've seen how people are outside of, Mississippi and all of that. So I think the fact that they give him, kind of that information, he's hearing it for the first time. So he's experiencing all of this with the audience. So that's kind of where it started.
For sure. Sinners appears to not just be remembering one's history and their roots, but also protecting it, right?
Yeah,
After being part of this film, how has it kind of influenced the way you see your career as an actor and a musician?
yeah. I mean, I couldn't too much say that I saw my career as an actor for sure. Being on the music side and growing up in music, that's always been, my main passion. But looking back, I've always been, a creative, like an entertainer. I grew up like the family clown, always wanting to make people laugh and just doing random stuff. But, it made me realize that my creativity doesn't have to be confined to one genre, to one thing. I'm a creative first, and so the fact that I get to express that in so many different ways and genres and revenues is just a blessing. So it opened up my eyes to that, and acting has become something that is really special to me now. It's something I really want to pursue and take seriously, and then just being on that set and getting to talk with Mike and Delroy Lindo and Omar Miller, Jack O'Connell and Haley and Wumi, and just hearing their stories and how they came up, and just learning about the process of how this stuff goes down. It was just life changing.